So conflicts are going to have a way that they get resolved. And so we've got a couple of different ways to look at those resolutions. The first one is looking at short-term resolution, and then the second is looking at long-term resolution. So we have 5 different categories that we can kind of fall into when it comes to short-term resolution. The first one relates to separation. In this case, it would be withdrawal. So if you're having an argument with somebody and they walk away, then pretty much that argument, at least at that moment, is done, and it's taken care of in the short term, but not in the long term. Then you also might have that idea of domination. So this idea that I'm going to win and you're going to lose, and this oftentimes relates to ones that have differential or differences in the balance of power. You might compromise where both of you change and work to have maybe you give a little and they give a little in order to create a little bit more of a compromise. The integrative agreements is more of a win-win situation, and where you kind of come up with your own creative solution that might be something above and beyond, where you both just give, but you come up with something really cool that is a creative way of resolving it. And the last one relates to structural changes or structural improvements, where you might make a decision about what the rules should look like and have different rules. I think, you might look at structural improvements as a child gets older. You can't necessarily run by the same rules that you did when they were younger, because when you're younger, you're just trying to keep them safe and protect them. And when they get older, you're trying to give them some freedom and latitude to go out and make their own mistakes. And those pieces need to be in place to allow them to do that. So somehow you have to change the rules and the way that you relate to them. And certainly when they get older and they get married, if you're still relating to them in the same way that you did when they were a kid, that's definitely not going to work. So, sometimes those things have to shift over time. But maybe you make a decision, like we're gonna make a decision this time that is gonna look like this. The long-term one, so we go from short-term and then we have long-term. So you might have a short-term disagreement, but looking for more of a long-term resolution. And then we have some of the ones that we've talked about often in here, this idea of avoidance. And avoidance doesn't have great satisfaction with it. If you don't take care of the issue, it's gonna come back around again. So the idea of having more conflict is gonna be present because it hasn't been taken care of the first time. Then you have reactivity, and reactivity again has low satisfaction. So you're not going to have people feeling satisfied because the person just blows up and then you don't resolve the issue again. So just like the first one, if you didn't take care of it the first time, you're still going to have the issue. So it's not been resolved and you're going to have more conflict. Collaboration has a tendency to have a higher level of satisfaction because there is some level of resolution in the end of it. So we have at least something being handled there. All right, this was a short one, but there you go.